tell her, cause plus they're out of state. These guys live in Wyoming and the house is here. Wyoming. So I'm like, you should just hire a probate attorney at this point, but she's like, I already put papers, I'm gonna file one for it, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to do it so much, I'm sort of probator. Oh, I'm gonna tell her that. Right, right. Okay, I'm gonna tell her that. That can help her. And then we can get this done really faster. I know she's ready. Okay, I just shared the with you, the GPS, so we can keep working on that, but that gives you a good start of like stuff to do. You know. Hey, welcome back. You're on vacation, right? We're at Florida, Montana.
Florida, yep.
I love it. I love it. Levi, this is Annabella.
I saw her briefly earlier.
Oh. Oh, yes. I love it. I'm gonna run to the restroom really fast and I'll be right back. We'll talk about.
You just get started as well.
Yeah, how about yourself?
Just fresh, barely got my license like a week ago and just trying to kind of get my foot in the door here and start talking to people. How about you?
Yeah, I got yeah, good. Hello, Bill. Yeah,
Awesome. Have you been lucky enough to get any transactions yet?
yeah, so I'm in the middle of one right now. Yeah, it's a smaller one. It's for a mobile home transaction, but real hard. Just FYI, if
Is
you ever
it
take on mobile.
Kind of its own beast,
It
probably.
is definitely, but it's good. I'm grateful for it. Giving me the good experience.
Where is it?
Right here in Layton on, it's called Layton State. So, help me sell and so we're under contract for their selling. And then we're under contract.
The same.
It's the same RHP properties, but they want to move more from Fairfield. Yeah.
Awesome.
So you were in Florida just now?
Yeah, just a few days ago, I got back, actually got back 3 days ago, and my wife just got like the worst, she's pregnant, she got the worst morning sickness in the world, and she's like bedridden on her back. And I've been helping out the last few days, but I'm back, ready for action now.
My family lives in Florida, so that's all. Orlando. Yeah, where were you guys at?
That's where we were, didn't really get to do much, we went to, what do they call it, Disney. It's free, you can just walk around.
Oh, Disney Springs.
Yeah, we went to Disney Springs one night, but other than that, we were kind of just doing a lot of the beach and whatnot, because my wife, once again, is kind of like,
She doesn't wanna ride rides.
Disney all the time
I
already.
don't blame her. It's good that you guys were able to do that vacation. Is this your first baby?
It is
That's awesome. Good.
nervous and excited for sure.
It'll be good.
So we had you working on, I do not remember tagging people.
Yeah,
probably.
I was kind of just working on like my database and kind of just trying to get it a little bit more complete and getting more parts of the puzzle for each person, like, you know, address and.
Yeah,
email
the Nate,
address and
the
whatnot.
Nate thing. How did that go?
So far so good. I mean, I'm definitely got a lot more work to do
Just to work in the database is never done. We're always.
100%. I guess I can ask you at some point, but good. I'm getting my wife to work on getting our wedding registry.
Oh, the address, what's your address?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But on top of that though, what was your source for just physical address, whatnot?
yeah. Are you a member of the MLS? I can't remember. You do
Yes,
have
I
that,
know I
okay.
got the email back and that's all done. I haven't really played around with it a whole lot.
Okay, I love it. So,
And if this is like one-on-one stuff that you want to talk
No,
to me
'cause
about,
Annabella-
that's
needs to fill in her addresses too.
Yeah.
So,
fine. Awesome.
I mean, if you need to take one-on-one, you can,
where
head
is
out.
the keyboard? I don't know, maybe it won't work. Well, I can show you guys something. Yeah, figure out how to get it show up there. I don't know where the keyboard is. I'll just come right here. So on the Utah Real Estate website, if you log in. And I'll show you too, how to get this. You go by Bella though, right? Yeah, you can. Yeah, I can. It's shorter than Annabella. If I go to tax data search right here, so search, and then down here to tax data search. And then I know like their, do you have a last name of somebody that you don't have their address for?
Let's go Knudsen.
Oh, what K-N-U-T-U-S-E-N?
UDSEN
Do you know what county they live in?
cash.
In Cache County, so I can say their last name in Cache County, and then I can search. And then, is it one of these people? Right there, Lillian and Peyton, so that's their address, 73 West.
So all you do is just go last name.
Yeah, so now you can add this if you need to. They live in Smithfield, to your command, to their name and command.
This is how you find anyone.
If they own a home,
If they-
and it's registered in their name, like a couple of people here don't put houses in their name, right? They go in their LLC, so like, it's not gonna show up that way. Like, if they're just a homeowner, then it'll be in their name, or it'll be in the trust. Some people put their home in the trust, so sometimes it takes some digging, but for the most part, you can find addresses from the tax title. So you just click on search at the top of the MLS and then go over to tax status. And that will help you fill in into your database help up too.
Oh my gosh. Do you like a tally mark of how many times I've yawned?
I'm gonna have to give you like a Red Bull.
Maybe these are the ones where like, why did I make that be? Okay, so I need to go to, somebody's going to server.
No, here, and then go right. And then go down here to tax county. And then pick someone that you don't know, like, or you don't have their address, and you can just type in the last name. Last name, yeah. And then what county? Like, what county they're in. You can do all of them, it'll take a lot longer, it's 24, but you can pick what county they live in and it will narrow.
Well, I don't know.
Perfect, so you can get her address from right there. Did you get this?
Yes, thank you.
So. That is a good skill for everyone to learn. So I'm glad you asked.
Thank you.
How else did it go?
I went to a wedding on Saturday and just
You
kind of,
guys came back from vacation and went to a wedding, but you're busy.
I went, yeah, but, I just had the opportunity to just talk to a few, friends that I hadn't seen in a while and kind of just tell them what I'm doing now, so that was good. I feel like I've got like some good, long-term, people maybe in the pipeline that I know in the next, maybe year might be potentially looking at something, but yeah, definitely nothing, I guess nothing more urgent than that at this point, but I've got a lot more people to talk to.
If, if, they're thinking of moving, the chances of them knowing somebody else is thinking of moving is higher. So I would keep in contact with them, even if they're not ready to move for a year, because they are gonna probably know somebody that's ready sooner. And you wanna keep in contact with them and provide enough value over the next year that they don't go with someone else.
For sure.
And, you guys have, you may have not been in the mind share class, where we talk about earning mind share, because it was last, I'm sure it was also during the lead generation week. So, but we want to get mind share, and the way we get that is by staying in front of people, and we be in charge of the relationship by staying in touch with them. So some things you could do is put them on the monthly neighborhood nurture, if they're thinking of selling in their area, now if they're thinking of buying, like maybe what areas they might be thinking of buying in. With their permission, you wanna do that, just like, hey, I know you're not looking to move till about a year, but I can provide you some information now around that. And then other things you could do for them now, like are they sellers or buyers?
So they would be, I mean, I guess both, right?
Okay, if they're selling, they're buying, yeah,
Yeah.
usually. So for sellers, they're gonna wanna maximize their dollar, so you could give them curb appeal tips or. Different things like, here's the best bang for your buck on remodels, paint and carpet and bathrooms are always, but don't overspend in those areas either. Don't go get the luxury carpet if you're selling, unless you're selling a luxury home. And then I just keep on top of what's going on in the market for them. So I'll set myself up on a hot sheet search on the MLS that says like, that's like really close to them. It's like a block, like a little block around them. And then I'll be like, hey, I noticed your neighbor's just listed for sale. This is what they listed for, but I only do it if it's like a primary close neighbor to them. And only if they're in my opportunities as a potential person that's gonna be buying or selling.
Awesome.
So that's a good follow-up item of value to do to them that keeps you top of mind as well. And then, Annabelle and I were just talking about the vendor list, creating a vendor list and providing that for them. Cause they it might get hectic, like packing or whatever, or even like I've been gonna make, you could do this cause you're good at social media stuff. You probably are too, just don't know. But
Sure.
you could create this, like best places to get boxes.
Yeah.
And like, it's literally like KSL has free ones, Facebook Marketplace has free ones. Sometimes U-Haul has like a $1 box bin for people that turn them in. So you could just create like different things like that. That's gonna be helpful for them.
Actually a useful bit of information.
Yeah, go to the grocery store, go to the liquor store, like whatever. I did try once, it wasn't for me. I tried to collect boxes and do my own box exchange within my sphere of influence. It didn't work because I ended up storing in my garage and I just was sick of being the box delivery person. But that could work for some people if I was like, hey, pick them up at my house, Farmington, like, it's fine. I moved around for that. I was doing that when I was living in Farmington. But like you can come pick them up at my house in Farmington, because I can't keep delivering them. And please return them when you're done, because for the next person. And that did work for a while. It became too much work for me. I don't want to do it anymore. But those are good, like, items of value that you can give to people as well. How did the conversations go when you were at the wedding? How did people feel?
I feel there was a few rather intoxicated, conversations where they feel like they're
Maybe they
really
don't,
good.
gotta call them again.
Whether or not I remember every aspect of it, I'm not sure, but no, I mean, I feel like one of those people that I think are potentials for the future. Really, I mean, it was a pretty positive conversation as far as he just smiled at me and said, now I have one of you guys, now I have a real estate guy, and once again, I might have to remind him of the conversation a little bit here in the following weeks, but
I'm taking it serious by providing value, like
Yeah.
little things of value. And it's not like we have to come in with this whole like sign, like, I am valuable, right? It's like, hey, did you see your neighbors just listed for this? Did you want to see the pictures of what that house looks like? Is it vacant? Should we go look at it? I take people to look at the competition all the time when I'm listing houses. So those are good. I would keep staying in touch with him. Treat yourself like you are his realtor right now. Like he already hired you, right? You're just gonna keep providing little bits of information?
They can feel like you are his realtor.
Yeah, yeah, show him there's no other realtors. For sure. How have your conversations been going? I mean, we kind of talked a minute ago, but you can share too.
We've been going pretty well. I don't know if I'm just lucky or it's just that stat, as long as you're that first agent, right? First contact, there's like 83% chance they'll go with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're that great, which is good. So yeah, most times, as long as I got there first, I just was able to just have a conversation and sign them. My very first people that I signed, that unfortunately they weren't, later down the road, we saw their finances weren't exactly where they were, so we had to cancel, but they had actually just met that same day with an agent and had been on the phone with them because they had an appointment with me next. And I said, hey, listen, that's fine. Go be with that agent if you really want to. I can schedule you guys for a little later. I'll still be here. Just, keep an open mind. And when they had told that other agent that they were going to meet with me after, he said, oh, hey, don't waste your time. And because he had said that, they came to me
You pulled back.
and I pulled them. I could have been like, oh, well, you're already talking to me again, never mind. Like, don't bother. I could have had that same attitude, but that positive attitude really helped.
That's awesome.
Which is good.
Yeah, yeah,
That was a learning experience. I was like, don't ever say no.
yeah, yeah. I know, I went to a listening appointment this morning and it's a good friend of mine's friend, dad who died. And so I'm trying to help them, but another agent said, I don't want to list that house. And I was like, who doesn't want, well, and it's a flip, so I might buy it, but I'm like, who wants, why wouldn't you say yes and go see if you can help them and then refer it to someone else if you don't want it? I'm like, who said no? But you have to say no sometimes because we have to pick our ideal clients, right?
Well,
Like,
sometimes it's torturous, like right now.
yeah, because we don't, we want less clients like that and more easy clients.
Yeah, but people still need help.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, tonight, in a minute, my list is teaching. Oh, Troy. Is Troy coming?
I don't know. I thought I'm doing the second one, right?
I don't know. I'm gonna pull my list. Well, this is Nick. Have you heard from Troy? Are you teaching for him?
Yeah.
Troy?
I just was told today, so probably. It's true, I know it's tonight, but.
You can. Are you teaching for Troy?
I didn't know it was just.
It is because of the 4th of July.
Yeah,
I know that we talked about-
everyone's like, this week is lost.
Okay, well, I'll interview you, Nick, and I'll text Troy. And find him.
Alright, cool.
So this is
Alright,
Nick.
well, let me know the rest of your crap my stuff.
This is Nick Connie. We'll come in there with you.
I remember talking about that it didn't make sense to have it on the third.
Yeah, so we moved it to tonight and tomorrow night.
It is Monday.
It does not feel like a Monday today. It feels like a Thursday. Good thing it's a short week. Yeah. Well, I texted Troy, Troy is one of our brokers here. He doesn't come in the office a ton. He works remote a lot, but he's pretty awesome. Hopefully he'll be here to teach tonight. And then Nick, well, we're waiting for him. Do you guys have any questions, any conversations that have come up that maybe stumped you?
I have maybe it's, I don't know, kind of just like, it's like a sensitive family situation, kind of like my wife's grandma's last living relative on that side. She's probably not gonna be around they're about to put her on hospice. She lives in Midway. And I know someone's gotta list that house, and it's actually my wife's dad is like the oldest brother and in charge of this. I know he's probably gonna be the one to make that call, if and when they sell it, but I don't wanna, I'm just trying to find the smoothest way to bring that up in conversation that, when that time comes. I can definitely take care of that for you.
So, I'm interested in your take on that.
Right, sorry, I caught half.
Yeah.
Fill me in,
his-
give me the update.
So his
Okay.
his grandmother-in-law is gonna pass soon.
Okay,
And how do you have that conversation about listing the house when there's a death?
how close are you with them?
I'm really close with my father-in-law.
Who will likely be the deciding person or is the deciding?
There's three, him and two other brothers. The two other brothers financially really, like, they're kind of, he's definitely the most responsible party, and
Okay.
I know that he's gonna be the one that they're kind of looking to.
You guys.
But at the same time, I know that everybody knows a real estate agent,
Yeah.
and I would kind of like to,
But are any of them as good as you?
definitely not.
I mean, don't overthink it. Next time, like, you don't have to wait, like, I don't know if I would make that call specifically, but the next time you're talking, be like, hey, listen, what's your guys' plan with the house? Oh, you guys think you're gonna keep it? Are you gonna sell it? Like, what do you guys want to do with it? Great, like, I'm sure you know this, but if you don't, I'm licensed, I'd love to help you, I'll make sure you get it taken care of, like. You just leave it at that. So,
Here's what I would do, because they know you're a brand new agent. I would do a CMA on that house, a practice CMA, and then I would give it to him and I would say, hey, I just used Kerr House as one of my practice CMAs. I thought I may as well not have wasted my time. I'm gonna give it to you. This is what I can get with V-Word.
And this is something you would do like right now.
how,
Closest to.
yeah, I was gonna say,
Honestly,
what's
like,
the ETA on listening?
she really, she's 96 years old. And she could, like, she's really stubborn from everything I've been
Okay.
told, so she could hang on for quite a while, but at the same time, like, it could be in. 3
He's not
weeks.
like in hospice or home care right
But she's about to be.
now.
she's
Usually,
got
like, once you
full-time.
hit hospice, it's
You're-
3 to 6 months. and
You're
then,
going
like,
soon. They're gonna be putting her on hospice, like, that's what they're discussing right now.
Okay.
Because the home care is getting too
Yeah,
much for
Which
my.
will, which even if she is on hospice, then most likely that needs to be. Because either she'll do hospice at home or she'll be doing it in the facility. Right, might not even make sense to have.
yeah. Yeah, you could potentially. The only issue you'll run into there, well, here's the next thing, here's what you could do. Is that home in a trust or an LLC, or is it still in her name? Cause if it's in her name and she died, it's gotta go to probate.
Remember how we looked
Probate
it up on the tax study? You can look it up the same way.
is a nightmare.
See, it's in a trust.
So that's probably what you should, that's probably the best way to go about it. Hey, this might be a little uncomfortable when grandma dies. What's the plan with the house? Cool. Is it, and you can look it up. Hey, I looked it up. It's in her name. Once she dies, we have to go to probate court before you guys can do anything. Why don't we start doing some preemptive work on that and get it in a family trust to where you guys can then make decisions after she passes?
And the
That's-
tax benefits are way
Yeah,
better
oh, yeah.
on that.
You
Yep.
know what you could say? You could say, hey, because I'm a new agent, I've been taking a lot of courses to make sure I'm knowledgeable.
Yeah.
We had this conversation and I thought about our situation with grandma. So I started looking into it. I just wanna make sure everyone's
Mhm.
taken care of. This is what I found out. What do you think, Dad? Right? Like, that's how I would kind of go about it. Like, oh, it just came, which is true. You have been thinking about it and we're talking about it right now in the past.
I would look at the probate stuff or look and see who it's in, and then you wanna just get a trust attorney. That's not something you're gonna do.
And
We've
if
got recommendations for that if you need it. And
and
then
the
just say-
probate is like,
Probate, it has to go to the court, the judge has to decide who gets the right to sell the house. Unless there's a trust, like even a will, you still have to go to probate. So a trust just makes it simpler. It's gonna cost you a couple $100 to set it up. Grandma, while she's still alive, can get it all set up. And then she knows and she can have some say as what happens to the house when she dies.
Yeah.
And now it's not, you're just waiting for her to kick the bag so that you can go list the property because you're a greedy agent. You're, hey, listen, I'm trying to help you guys. Being proactive here. Here's a couple of things that we need to address before she passes so that life is easier when she does. Boom, boom, boom. You can run the CMA as part of that. This is kind of the value that I think we're gonna get, but if you set it up beforehand, like, they're going to feel a loyalty to work with you when it's time. So,
Plus,
Like it, guys.
use family, so just kick that. in.
Keep family. Yeah, yes,
Use the
and,
Can be a mess.
yes, and it's family. So, they don't always go with family, sometimes they go with somewhere else, and you're like, wait, what? Like, alright, you're an
Sometimes
idiot.
they're like, I'm not gonna work with family, and it's like, you're gonna get a car page.
But it's also, I've used that against other people, you're gonna work with your brother? Oh,
No,
good
right,
things go
right.
bad.
I do that.
Woo, you're brave. You hire me, you can fire me, you never have to see me again, so. Yeah, there are. And people are usually playing them.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, I'll interview you, so how long have you been an agent?
Oh. 6 weeks. I know,
Plus.
8 years. Pretty sure I'm renewing for fourth time, which is 8 years. This year,
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's 2060.
yeah, that sounds right.
And, what's your favorite way to lead generate?
It's not, I like when people just call me, it's my favorite.
We had that conversation, how do you get them to do that?
My good looks, stunning personality.
Is that why you're poor? Oh, just kidding. Oh, just kidding.
It's gonna be in my old age. Leave me alone. My favorite way to lead gen is,
Or how do you get them to call you? How did you build your business in the beginning?
it's a great question. Very beginning, lots of open houses, lots of builder models and stuff. Since then, it's a lot of repeat and referral. That's like most of it. We do get some referrals from like other agents across the country. We
'Cause
run,
you have a teammate.
yeah,
in
so I've got
Florida.
I've got a business partner in Florida. And then I'm also partnering with some other guys here in the office for investment stuff. Should have prepped me with these questions, I would have come up with something more.
That's why I don't,
And
people have to see what it's really like, it's really kind of messy.
It
Just
is
do whatever
100%.
we do,
Yeah.
get
I
it.
didn't say, like, there's. When you're starting, the name of the game is just mind share, having people relate real estate to you. So posting open houses, sitting open houses, like you can post other people's listings.
Market stats.
yeah.
Tips.
I would
curb appeal
post,
tips.
like, I honestly, it's, I used to do it a lot, and it's one of the things that I don't do very much anymore, and I need to circle back to it, but. I would be at an open house. Hey guys, check out this open house. Here's where I am today from 11 to 1. Hey guys, check this one out. Hey, we just put this one under contract. Like, especially when I was getting going, I would do a lot of just listed, under contracts, just sold. You can make one property turn into like 15 different posts. And people don't track. People don't go, that's the same post as the last. That's the same house as the last one. They see 15. Oh, correct. That's another one. Another one. Another one. And it just pulls their attention when they think of real estate, so they'll think of you. So for the first 2-3 years, like, I mean, you should do it forever, but that's really what really heavy for the first couple 4. So, we did videos. We did a lot of videos talking about everything. We also had our marketing was for the suit guys, and I mean, right now, but we wear. Like, I've got a Super Mario suit. I've got a pumpkin suit. I've got a flamingo short suit. I've got Spider-Man suit. I've got, so like, we would wear those in all of our marketing videos, so full attention. We'd wear them at the conferences, which were really good because again, if people would come to you. I'm more of a, I want to attract you to me. I'm
John
not-
still wears suits. I went to
Kind of.
maybe
yeah.
go with him.
Yes, he
Still
does.
have a suit on.
Yeah, I felt bad. I made him go solo on that. Should have been right there because we talked and it's not as.
So
I wouldn't do that so.
He
Together,
did, he did it in Texas.
when you do
so-
it solo, you look crazy. There used to be 3 of us. When there's 2 or 3 of you, it's a party. People want to be part of a party. When it's just one, you're the weird guy in a weird suit. So, anyways, some psychology there of like what people are attracted to. So, what else? That was really it. So I've run Facebook ads. I'll run Facebook ads around listings and stuff now. Those just have closed at such a lower percentage for me that my biggest dollar is spent on my current clients, their referrals. The events are big. I try to do at least the events the office does. Usually we try to do 3 or 4. Okay. 3 or 4 for the year, so 1 or 2 on top of that. that we Want to do ourselves. We'll do drop offs. We do Christmas drop offs pretty much every
What
year.
do you guys give typically? Do you have the same thing?
No,
Like some people do, we were talking about pies last week, some people do.
No. we've never done pies. We've done a bunch of different things. We did a 4th of July one. We've done a New Year's one. That was usually because Christmas ended and we went, oh shit, we didn't have anything out this
We gotta
year.
give some.
We got a dead week. What do you guys want to do? So,
Oh, someone needs to be admitted.
can't even see me, so that's all right. You won't even ever know who swore on the live stream. Let's see. This last year for Christmas, we did the $5 tin of Christmas cookies. It's like, don't get so, and I'm telling you this from experience. You can get so caught up in the quality of the gift or the present or the drop off that you could drop by with a candy cane. The whole idea is it's just the personal touch of the, hey, we're here. How was everything? Sometimes you're in a house for 40 minutes and you have a great conversation, and sometimes they're like, why are you at my house? I want to see you right now. I'm like, hey, neither do I. Have a great day. I'll see you later. Like, so, but
I love it, I love it.
yeah, that's it. I don't know. I don't, as far as starting out, just do things to tie your name to it so that when people think of it. I ran into a college buddy at the airport this weekend. Haven't seen him in 15 years. Hey man, how are you? Good, good. Are you still doing real estate? Yep. Which is
Ooh,
great. I
That
tied
question
it.
hurts.
He tied it to me, and then the still, and I was like, eh.
They have to already know you're still doing real estate.
But, so. Or no, he asked me how real estate is.
Oh,
He asked me
that
something.
doesn't hurt as bad.
No, he asked me where I did. It wasn't like diving dagger to the heart. Like, oh no, he doesn't know. It was like a very much, hey, you're still doing that. How's it going? Or something.
Yeah,
Fine.
yeah.
So,
If somebody has to ask me if I'm still in real estate, I am not doing my job.
Yeah.
I have to know. Hey, well, we haven't heard back from Troy. So, I do have to leave.
Okay.
But, so you can decide if you wanna just teach one class. And then end it early,
you guys want to go through both of them?
or teach both.
I haven't looked at these ones yet, but I mean,
This is just pre-qualifying them.
yeah, as I say, like,
And I have
we can.
forms I can give them to. qualify.
I got my stuff I was gonna share with them, but I don't have the. Supposed to have other stuff.
Unfortunately, for next.
Oh, all right, one on one,
So it's just Levi, one on one.
perfect. We can do one on one.
It's actually better. You get so much more out of it.
It's good to meet you.
Nice meeting you, Levi. Best of luck.
Thank you,
Sure, we'll
you
see.
too, absolutely.
Just one.
And one online.
Who's online?
Name is Kyson.
I think
And I don't know that you can hear him. I don't know about
Oh.
all of them. I'll try to do.
that's okay.
Yeah, I signed it. No, we didn't sign right, but I thought I signed it.
Well, shoot, man, I'm sorry you came all this way just for me.
Well, no, Kyson's online.
I mean, yeah,
It's
it
a
was,
rough
it was a
week.
track to get here for you.
From there to here.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
What's really funny is I was gonna step out to go pop a key box, but I haven't heard a seller out yet, so.
Oh,
fine.
yeah.
I got plan on just coming back at 6:30. All right. You don't write a keyboard, what?
No, I can look at
So much easier to just.
half of that. Let me.
All about their buyers and stuff. You have your license yet?
I do,
Your official?
just barely got it.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, just barely got
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Are you from around here originally, or?
Not really. I grew up in Colorado. I've been out this way. Honestly, I got licensed like in 6 months of moving up north here,
Right
so,
on.
yeah.
So Utah was the beginning of your real estate.
kind of, yeah, I was down in like Provo, Orem for a couple of years doing school. Worked a bunch of odd jobs, came up here to finish up at Weaver State, and in that time got licensed and started selling. And still going,
Rest is history.
yeah,
Heck yeah.
so. All right, let's see. Number one job as a real estate agent is to find ways to get in the path, of motivated buyers and sellers. Yeah, sounds great. Love it. Whoa, I think you found it. What are you doing? Uh-huh.
There was a lot of good bullet points there.
What just happened? Me? I don't know, how do you go back?
It's possessed.
I got it.
Oh,
I feel like
it just started freaking out, and I'm like, I don't know what I
Allison's
did.
messing with you.
oh, it was it, oh, maybe it is me.
It went. super quick.
I bet I did bump the keyboard.
All right. Here we have the clicker.
Or two.
Just over on the other side and sit down. The middle, so Tyson with a K.
I can be wherever's clever.
See what we can do. You want that instructor guide? No, I want you to do in real life.
What you were gonna say?
I don't know.
I'm gonna get my experience for better or
Exactly,
worse.
exactly.
Yeah.
He can hear you. And I was gonna try to turn the volume up, but I can't ever figure out this volume.
I'm not gonna be watching the chat.
You can text Nick at 385 393 4650 if you have questions,
There you
Kyson.
go. Text me a question if you have. That'll be easier.
But I have my kid's birthday today.
Excuses.
Trust me, I know.
All right, see ya.
If George texts me or gets back to me, Nick, I'll text you.
Okay, we'll crank through this. It's just two of us, we can probably get done in like an hour and a half or plus. All right. What questions do you have to start? How about that?
Regarding specifically like the buyer side. Qualified potential.
Or anything?
Might have like some. Or anything questions, but
We'll cruise then. Let me know when you have questions. All right, number one job is to get in the path of buyers and sellers. Find the motivated. How do we find the motivated? This new whole about finding buyers and sellers. Do you have any misunderstandings about what it would be like? Finding buyers and sellers?
what's the breakdown?
Yeah, that's where it comes from.
Yeah, I guess something that came to mind was just, I forget his name now, but we had somebody do one of the ignites a week or two ago. And he started his whole real estate journey just cold calling,
Yep.
basically, like that was his main jam. He
Yep.
was kind of didn't want to mess with his inner
Yep.
circle, and starting out, brand new, like me, is that something that you would consider? I mean, obviously, it's not a waste, or no one would ever do it,
The
but
cold calling?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like, is that something that I should really block out a, window of time every day and make sure that I'm doing that? And I mean, like, true
Yeah.
cold calling, like,
Yeah.
you know,
It can still work for sure. It's a different type of sale. So it's more, kind of way that I always looked at it was, my SOI is farming. So like if you were gonna go make a farm, plant a farm, right, you're gonna do all of this work, you're not gonna see anything for 9 months to a year. So that's kind of how I looked at it was, if it's an SOI, I need them to come to me. Like I didn't blow up my SOI. Hey, I'm in real estate. Hey, I'm in real estate. Like I was like, I'm not gonna do that. Like I just know me. And if somebody called me and did that, it would change the dynamic of our.
you let them know, people
Exactly.
knew what you were doing, but you
Exactly.
weren't a very repetitive.
No. So like, I would invite people to stuff. I would talk to people about stuff at family parties. Hey, this is what I'm doing. And the one thing that you could practice for that situation, hey, I'm in real estate. Oh, question you're gonna get next, how's the market? I would practice a couple follow-ups of what you're gonna say when somebody asks you that. Oh, that's interesting. Like, what market are you talking about? The market in general, like buyers, sellers, like, that's without a doubt, that's the next question they ask when they find out you're in real estate. People that I've never met. Oh, I'm in real estate. Oh, how's the market out there?
Next question for you is,
Depends on who it is.
yeah, from a buyer.
So if it's somebody out here that's looking to buy or that might have a need, they're like, well, right now it's actually pretty decent. Are you guys thinking about, buying or selling? Like, or, the market right now is a little tricky, or like, oh, the market, which, like, do you have a specific market in mind that you're thinking about? Like, selling a house in the 500s or buying a house in the 500s, or you with a million, like, just kind of some sort of follow-up of like, oh, it's a great question. A lot of people have it. Is there a specific type of the market you're interested in? And then sometimes they'll go in, sometimes they'll kind of retreat and they're just making small talk.
You can kind of just
mhm.
figure out if they're for real.
Yeah.
Or not.
So, but that's a good one to kind of just have a few things in the line of asking a couple follow-up questions. The market right now is really exciting. What had you asking? Oh, we own a house. Oh, we're just interested. Oh, you're just interested. Have you ever, actually, I don't know if it's in here or not, but there's a really good book that you should listen to called Never Split the Difference, or read it. It's a FBI hostage negotiator, and it's a fantastic source of how to ask questions. And
Is
different
it
types of
a-
questions.
like a true story, or is it basically just his
It's both.
view? What's it called?
Never split the difference. So a lot of it is, like, when you listen to it, you'll understand it, but repeating back in a question form what they just said to you. So, oh, the market's really exciting right now. What has you interested in? Oh, we were just thinking, or we were just curious. Oh, you're just curious? Yeah, we're like, doing that allows them to open up more and give you more information, and then you can ask better questions. So they can, hey, how's the market right now? Oh, it's super great. Oh, it's super tough right now. Oh, okay, cool. Anyways, good to meet you. And they could be, well, we need to list a house. How's
They
the
could be
market?
ready to roll.
Like, we need, we're thinking about, oh, my sons need to buy, oh, this or that, and like some sort of follow-up of, finding out why they're asking. Because everybody wants to talk about real estate. And within a couple of questions, you can find out if there's a need or if they're curious. So, but this is where, yeah, this breaks down where they all come from. So across the board, referral is the highest. It's always gonna be the highest. People like to work with people they know, they like, and they trust. So that was kind of why I also focused on the SOI. Like, they know me, they like me, more or less. All I gotta do is get them to trust me with this specific thing, and I can do that by showing some value and providing a few things that show, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Here's what you need to know, here's what you need to do, there's something to be careful of. Like sometimes that's even more important and more, if someone comes to you and you're like, hey, I need to buy a new car. Oh, well, you want to do this and this and this versus, hey, well, one thing you might want to be aware of before you buy a new car is X, Y, Z. And now it's, well, you're not forcing me or pressuring me into doing something, you're providing me with information that might deter me from making this decision. So it just adds an added level of trust.
Unbiased,
Respect,
maybe
yeah,
value.
Yeah, so. And I don't have like a list of questions that I regurgitate to people. It's really just specific of like, who's the individual, what are we
Plans to
talking
do.
about? And then as we're talking, there's usually something, and a lot of that comes from 8 years of doing it. There's a lot of knowledge and understanding of like, hey, so when you're first starting out, find a couple of things that you're super comfortable with, and the more you do deals, the more you'll have to draw from.
For sure.
So the one thing that I did when I started is I was on a team and I leveraged the team's experience quite a bit too. Hey, my team just had this experience with a closing. Hey, we just had this experience. Hey, one of the things that you need to watch out for is this experience that my partner just had. So it's showing your knowledge without, and you can use that same thing from the office. Hey, one of the things you should be aware of that one of my office partners just had is X, Y, Z. You know, get that, come to the meetings as much as you can. People will talk, oh, hey, one of my business partners is listing a house in West Point next week. It might be a good fit, so I'm gonna need some more information. Like, and then it just shows, it ties you to the activity, even though it might not be right. Simply, there's nothing wrong or nefarious about doing it like that. So
For sure.
it's a good way to kind of leverage your whatever you want to call it. Lack of experience,
For sure.
right? Yep. So dollar per return, I've always found it best for the top one. And then from there, it's kind of like open houses are good because it allows you to kind of practice. You can ask questions, you can kind of practice that stuff. Post it, so get your name out there. I think that's about it for that. Sellers, same way. Some sellers, some like people still get folks from online and leads and cold calling. So there's not really one end all be all lead solution. So most of my business comes from referrals, but I've cold called in the last few months. But I usually cold call for different, usually cold calling for more of the investment stuff in the list. But people do it all the time. So it can work. Dalton's closed a couple this month from his cold calls and his open house. So like
Maybe it wasn't all.
it might be. So. What's next? Sellers found their agent. Highest for referrals, next is previous use, which again, and then personal contact, referral,
Personal contact rate is basically cold call. thing.
knocking on the door. That's another good one. Before you sit in open house, the Friday before, go knock 10 doors on either side of the house. Left, right, and across the street. And just, it's a super non-threatening. Hey, I'm holding an open house at your neighbors tomorrow. They have their house listed. Here's a flyer. We'd love to have you stop by and gas. Oh, they listed their house? What are they listed at? Oh, whatever it says here. Right. Oh, what's it like? No, we might stop by it. And then another line I would use is, yeah, so, you know, if you happen to know of anybody that's looking to move into the area, it's a great chance for you to get to pick your neighbors instead of having some random move. Do you know anybody that might be looking to move into the area? Sometimes if you ask people for help, rather than asking them directly, hey, do you want to sell your house or buy a house? Well, it's too close. No. Hey, do you know anybody that this might be a good fit for? Huh. It takes the defensiveness away because now you're not asking them for something, you're asking them for help. And then they can potentially give you somebody else. So I've had good leads come from that. I don't know if they're close. But that's probably lack of follow-up. Anything so. Yep, what do we got? Opportunities in command. If you have questions about that, I'm not the person to talk to.
Please.
Able, ready, and willing. Focus becomes increasingly possible in direct proportion to how clear you are about what you want, when you want it, and what you must do. Tyson. Let's see. Tyson here on Zoom, so if you just let your SOI come to you, did it take a while in your career to start seeing business through that? Yeah, it can take about 6 months to a year. It's kind of what I would plan on. So I wouldn't solely, like I was in school full time and I was a personal trainer while I was doing this. So different ways to do it. If that's not an option for you, I would start building that in the background and then I would do more of the active stuff. So more of the calls, more of the door knocking. You can run Facebook ads. You can buy leads if you want. That's my least favorite because I think usually has the lowest return and they're usually selling it to more than just one agent. But yeah, it definitely takes longer doing it that way. I do think that, I mean, it's worked out pretty well that we have a pretty consistent client base from that. So perfect world is I would do both. I don't know if you have any other questions. All right. What makes a buyer or a seller? Somebody who is ready, willing, and able. What does that mean? Best guess.
They have the means to buy or sell, and they have the desire to do so.
No, yeah. So they're able, like on a seller, can they sell the house? Like, can we still straight up? Is it gonna be a foreclosure? Like, what's the situation like for a buyer? You wanna buy a house, that's fantastic. Do you have a job? Do you have any kind of money saved up for a down payment or closing costs? What do you look like? What's your qualification status? So that's the able side. The willing side, cool things. The willing side obviously is, do they want it? Do they want to sell the house? Do they need to sell the house? Do they want to buy a house? Do they need to buy a house? And then ready would be both of those together. So, and they're ready to take action. So, come from curiosity. Again, questions are going to be your best friends. So, start practicing the different. Have they done language of sales here? You guys seen that one yet?
They may have, well, I was going last week, but I'm not sure.
There's some good stuff in there. Different tie downs and things, way assumptive closes, things like that. They're good tools to have when you're going to close things. If somebody says right at the end of a sentence, hey, it would make sense if we got you prepared before you bought a house, right?
Just getting you to
It's
agree.
the tie down. Yep. Yeah, it does make sense. Okay, great. Then you can move on. Once you start doing it, and you don't realize you're doing it anymore. And then your 6-year-old daughter comes up and says, "Hey, it'd be good to have mac and cheese, right?
Right.
It'd be good if we had 2 popsicles, right? Sure, man, have 2 popsicles. Like, yeah, that sounds like a great one. Let's do that."
Quit saying right at the end of all your
Yeah.
sentences.
Exactly. Classify your opportunities, A, B, and C. I would say an A buyer is, I would put them sub 3 months. Like, anything 90 days, I mean, I guess you can do it in a few months. 30 days or less is like, they need the bulk of my attention. Somebody that is either listing their house in the next 30 days, which means I probably already have a listing agreement signed with them. A buyer, same deal. If they're ready to go in the next 30 days, then they get the bulk of my attention. So they're the ones that I'm following up with more frequently. Did you do it with the lender? How are we looking? How are the houses looking? Which ones do we want to take a look at? Sell side, hey, these are the things you need to do to get ready to list. How are we doing here? What other questions do you have? Who do I need to get you in contact with? Buyer, like B, I would say, sure, 30 to 60 days. Again, they get the next amount of attention. Maybe that's once a week, once every 10 days. How's everything looking? Do you have any questions? Do you see any houses you like? Am I sending you the right types of houses? Are any of these interesting to you? And then 60 to 90 plus, 3 months. Again, just a different type of follow-up. Depending on where you're at in the, have you signed any listing agreements? Are you still pushing for the appointment? Different things that you can follow up with to add. Little side note, if somebody tells you, whenever they tell you their timeline is, cut it in half. Oh, we're gonna sell our house in the next 6 months, it'll be 3. oh, we're gonna buy a house in the next year, 6 months. It's just,
If they're ready to start talking about
Yep.
it and the process starts.
Yep.
Ball starts rolling, it's going to happen.
there's a mechanism in your brain called the reticular activating system. So if you buy a red car, you start seeing red cars that you bought everywhere. You start thinking about going on a beach vacation, you start seeing beach ads everywhere. Now, did the AIs of the world just know to start sending you that? Maybe.
Maybe, but
Maybe.
it's also.
Also, now your brain is keyed into it, so it starts seeing it everywhere. Which is another, like, when they have like the old laws and the kind of the woo-woo stuff. There's a real science to, the more you think about something, the more you're going to see something. Hey, we're thinking about selling the house. Cool, you just kicked on selling the house, so now you're
You're
gonna
really
start
gonna be
seeing,
thinking.
oh, that one listed, oh, that one, oh, they have a sign, oh, they have a sign. We're thinking about buying a house, oh, look, there's an open house sign, oh, here's one that just popped up. And it will start. More often than not, you like, pretty much rule of thumb that you cut it in half. So if they say 6 months, cool, if they're not ready to meet right now, I need to follow up with them again in a few weeks. Hey, how's everything going? Saw a couple of houses that I thought you might be interested in. I'm happy to send them to you if you'd like me to. That type of, you kind of hold it so that they come to you. And then you provide value without being, there's a difference between, hey, I was showing a house to another client last week. They didn't really, I really thought of you when I was there. Would you like me to send it to you? Now you're presenting them with something that might be of value instead of just bombarding them with stuff that could look pushy. So again, different strokes for different folks. That's kind of how I like to do it. Some people just plow through the walls and they get it done too. So, any questions on ABC and how you qualify them?
Kind of, like, my one question was just gonna be, at what point do you usually find it's too late in their process for you to be their agent, as far as like,
The only time it's too late is when they've signed with someone.
with someone else?
That's it. Like, that's it. Listing, it's like, yeah, no, until they've signed, I've had buyers that have gone and looked at other properties. I meet with them, like, hey, did you guys sign any agency paperwork? No, we didn't. Like, cool, we're signing today.
Yeah.
And now you're mine. Like, no, we can kind of go through how I do that and different things but no, I'm like, until, if you have signed with somebody else, okay, now legally, I really can't do. Like, unless you wanna fire that guy and hire me, then I can, but I can't really tell you how to get out of it. I really can't do any of that stuff. Like, sorry you signed with somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. When does it expire? I'm happy to work with you.
For sure.
So, but no, I don't, there's no. Oh, somebody else showed you a house? Okay, well, I'll back off on chance. No. Did you sign a paper with them? No. Do you want to offer on that same house? No. Fantastic, let's rock. So if they do offer on that house, then you can run into procuring costs and try to pay a referral. Or something. Anyways, this is all a little bit more in depth. General rule of thumb, whatever they say, cut it in half, and then find ways to bring value to them. So like grandma, right? I would put grandma probably in like BC. Probably 60 to 90 days are gonna be in there. Cool. Hey, here's a couple of things that I was looking at. House is still in her name. That's gonna be a big problem. We're gonna have to wait to sell the house until we get through probate, and probate can take 3 to 6 months to get that done. Why don't we work on getting that taken care of while grandma's still alive? We get a trust set up, so then the trust can sell it when she passes.
And so for me, and I could be wrong, I can't remember if because I know that a trust came up. I can't
Okay.
remember if it had already been established or if that's
Right.
what they were talking about doing.
Right.
But I guess that's step number one is I just need to figure out,
Pull up county records.
and you're saying that as far as what I would have to do as an agent, it's a lot simpler, shorter time frame if there's already a trust established.
Simpler for them too.
Yeah.
Cause now
For
they gotta
sure.
go pay court costs, they're gonna have to pay, they don't necessarily have to pay an attorney for probate court, but you gotta wait, so now if they wanna sell the house super quick, you can't. Now you have to wait to get legal permission to sell the property. It's already set up, it's very much smoother to get it done. So whether you list the property or not, it's gonna be easier for them if it's
Helping them out
place.
anyways.
Yep. Yeah, so, and that's kind of the idea, like, one of the things that some people, and like even I get caught up in it sometimes, if you kind of start, it's easier if you look at, you're going to provide as much value as you can, and you'll close some deals. If you try to start tie it like, oh, I did all this stuff for
If
this
I do this for
person,
you,
and they have worked with somebody, like,
You know,
there's
a lot
been
of
lots-
letdowns.
there's been a few clients that I bent over backwards. There's one in middle of COVID that I busted my neck
you
for
earned the
to
commission on
get
that
her
deal.
sold, to
Yeah.
get her into her new house. Dropped off stuff a couple times a year, invited her to everything. How you doing? She got married, talked to a builder's agent, sold her own house. And I was like, you freaking kidding me? Like that would piss me off a little bit. I was like, I can get a phone call? Like, that's nonsense. Like, so then it's like, the honest falls to you though. It's like, well, why didn't you call it? Like, why didn't you stop by again? Like, and again, it's not always a tit for tat.
You're just not always gonna
No.
get everyone that you think you should.
Exactly. And then there's others that
Gonna
I
surprise
took
you
a
the
phone
other
call,
way.
showed them one house, wrote an offer, and they
Didn't
So
cause you
it's-
any stress. or-
exactly. So it's very much a like, hey, I try to operate with, I'm gonna bring as much value and make people's lives as easy as I can. And I will close some deals. Like,
It's almost like you're saying you're part of the customer service
kinda,
experience
Yeah.
first and then sales after to
Kinda.
make them happy and then
kinda, yeah. So like, still sales skills are very important.
for
but
sure.
Just that, like, for me, so that I didn't lose my sanity of like, I can't believe my cousin that I'm super close with worked with somebody else. Like, or my friend, or this, or that. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna win some, I'm gonna lose some. At the end of the day, I'm going to operate like this. And I'm just gonna trust that it's gonna shake out in my favor. So. Alright, ahas. Qualified buyers and sellers, why qualify? Why should you qualify your buyers and sellers?
You don't waste your company, waste their time.
Yep. That pretty much nails it on the head. Buyer lead sheet. That would probably be good to have for your first couple. I have one, but mine's not that in depth.
Just to help walk them through the process when you meet with them,
Yeah, and for you to make sure you get the right,
hitting all the
yeah.
important bullet points.
So like, first question they have is, has anybody taken you to see any properties? It's usually not the very first one I ask. It depends on who it is. Like I'll ask, hey, you have anybody helping you? Oh, my so-and-so is. Okay, fantastic. And if they, I get that a lot on listings. Someone's just calling the sign. Hey, I'm super interested in this house. Hey, that's awesome. Glad to hear you're interested. Do you have an agent that's helping you look for a house right now? Oh, no, I don't. Oh, okay, cool. No big deal. Let me answer some questions for you. Then at the end, I'll use the pitch. Hey, I don't mind. If you're interested, I'd love to be happy to do a buyer consult with you. Make sure you're finding the right properties and you don't miss any. That's something that would be a benefit. There's other ways to add that too. Or, oh yeah, I do. Oh, fantastic. You need to have your agent reach out. Like, you need to have your agent give me a call and we can go ahead and set that up for you. So, different things, different ways to qualify so that you're not running out to show, open the door for somebody when they have representation already. The representation should be there to show the property, not you.
When you hear that
Mhm.
as an agent, right? So, yeah, I actually do have somebody that's been helping me out
Yeah.
last couple months. Is that a dead end for you? Like, is that, I mean, obviously, you're not gonna be like
No.
that one person earlier and just tell them to kick rocks, but I mean, are you mentally kind of,
I'll ask some more questions, and again, it depends on who it is. If it's just a random phone call, a random sign call, where I'm like, they really don't have any reason to know, like, or trust me. Like, I could push for it, and I'll, like, depending on what they say, I'll push to have them come meet with me or provide more value for them. But if it's, hey, we've been working for 4 months, oh yeah, great, like, I've asked people like, oh, that's awesome, do you trust that agent that you're working with? Like, do you have a pretty good relationship? Oh, yeah, we've used her for
you'll kind of just. ask
7
them.
more. Fantastic. Glad you guys are taken care of. Have her reach out to me if she has any questions. Oh, we've kind of met them. We're not really sure. Hey, no worries. I get it. Hey, would there be any harm in us meeting and I can kind of walk you through how I like to represent my buyers and help them make sure they find the right house? And again, I leave it very
No pressure
no
there.
pressure. Hey,
That's-
if you would like this, fantastic. But if you don't, I'm not gonna commit my time and energy to you if you can't commit your time and energy. Like, and if we can't agree to a small meeting where we both get, promise 45 minutes to each other, no worries. Like, okay. So, cool. But yeah, I would print this off to give you some ideas of things to ask. At some point, I'll show you the stuff that I go over. But yeah, who's buying the home? Where do you want to be? What's important to you in the house? Have you been pre-qualified? Have you talked to a lender? You have an idea of what your credit score is. You don't have to ask that one. Usually people volunteer it, so. Fire lead sheet, we're not gonna role play. Unless you want to.
You can keep going for now.
I'll show you, we can go through mine if you want. Communicate with your database, 19 to connect, 36 to convert. 4 phone calls, 12 touches, 2 touches, 1 touch. Like. Yeah, those are good. There's lots of ways to do this. You have any questions about that?
Do you find, and obviously it's a combination of all those methods, like. Do you feel like it should be a combination of all those methods, or do you feel like you personally, like when you pick up the phone and call somebody, that's how you get business done? Like, you feel
It's
like-
definitely more personal when you can pick up a phone call for them. Like calling to invite people to an event, super easy. And it's that personal touch. The rest of it again is kind of just mind share. So, but
A reminder.
like 1 touch at the annual event, I try to do more than those. I like the personal one-on-one. Let me see you, look in your eyes, vice versa, come have some fun. Just keep tying them to the, when we're with them, things are fun, things are good. Kind of tying them to that, because they're not always, sometimes things go bad in a deal and you're like, really glad that we have this past to
Really glad that.
foundation here, so they know that I'm doing these things for you, trusting you, they're trusting me, so.
I like it.
Promotional direct mail, yeah, like, most of this is just mind share. You're trying to get people, when they think of real estate, they think you. Qualifying sellers. Pre-listing questionnaire. Yeah. Where are you moving? What's, motivating you to move? What's your timetable? If you sell your house in the next 30 days, will that pose a problem for you? Yeah, like they're good to kind of get your mind going. It's essentially just asking questions to find out why they're moving, what their timetable is, and what their expectations are. A really good one to ask is, hey, what's important to you when you sell your house? Great. What else is important to you when you sell your house? Great. What else is important to you when you sell your house? Fantastic. Make sure I'm understanding this right. You want to make sure that it's good communication, we get a good price, and that we close as quickly as possible. Fantastic. What else should I know about before we list your property? XYZ. Oh, I need to close. I'm gonna have one. It was the very last thing we said. Fantastic, dude. House looks great. Yada yada yada. Going through all the paperwork. I'm like, all right, boom. We'll plan on listing it here. We'll probably around this price. We'll do these few things to list it. And what else should I know before we get this going? Oh, I need to live in the house until August 15th. Oh, yeah, that's really important for me to know. Cool. Need possession until the 15th of August. We were able to find a buyer that said no problem. But if I don't know that and I'm presenting offers that say 30 days, well, that's a problem. What am I gonna do with my family? Am I gonna move out? Are we gonna move to a hotel? I can't move into our new place yet, so. Just those type of questions. What's important to you? Why is that important to you? So,
I don't.
those would be good to go through. Just jog your creativity. Let's see, no role play. Same deal. Buyers and sellers. Different value things, but a lot of it's the same. So you can give different value pieces of top 10 mistakes people make when they list their house. The cool thing is you can go to ChatGPT and say, give me 10 mistakes sellers make when they list their property. Make an email
Just-
list out of that and blast it out.
Just barely shown that the other day.
Yep.
and I was
Post it
like,
up on socials. There's so much stuff you can do. It's stupid that I don't use it one.
That really is pretty amazing.
All right, let's see here. Follow up. Stay on top of mind, qualify buyers. That's it. I think we're at the end of this. Don't call people on the do not call list. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in a relationship with me. Positive thought of the day. Role play. Conversationalist, I'm assuming that's supposed to be people that you want to reach out to. Sounds right. Celebrate successes. Got like a little mini bowl going on over here. Fantastic. That's the end of that section. All right, what questions do you have? What do you want to go over more of that section? Get to the next one. Why they shouldn't leave me alone.
This is kind of. I don't mean, it wasn't specifically brought up in that section, but, what would you, what advice do you have just as far as like a intro? Social media post, just like an introduction to you being in the real estate industry, yeah, without just, doing it
Yeah.
for me, just what kind of.
You can do a bunch of different things. You can do like an announcement. Hey, got my license with KW, excited to help those who need help or learn more, or you could I did it.
It's going back and forth, but I don't know, I felt like it was something that I should do at some point.
I mean, for sure, I would post like I would start putting something out there. Like trainings and stuff you go to, you can do that. Hey, just attended another training, learning lots. Excited to help my clients.
Was there like a, legally you have to put Keller Williams somewhere on there? What was the deal as far as that goes? I was want to make sure I don't piss anybody off. I mean, I want to put Keller Williams
Yes,
on there, I
no.
just was curious for future posts and stuff.
There is, I want to say I think it's one click rule. That they have to be able to see what brokerage you're at within one click. Don't quote me on that.
I remember hearing something like
I
that
think
too.
I think it's still that. So put KW success at your place of work. So when somebody clicks on your profile, they can see where you work. Technically, that should satisfy it. I mean, let's go absolute worst case. You post something and you don't have it branded on there, and somebody reports you, you get Janky to get your back and go, we'll fix it. And you might get a little fun. I wouldn't stress too much about it.
Right on.
Posting and getting your name out there is gonna be more important than making sure it's branded.
Cool.
That would be my take on
Sounds good.
it. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's one click. So with ads and stuff, like if you go run a Facebook ad, yeah, you want it on. So that's, I think they look at that more than just regular random posts. The idea is that you want people to know what brokerage. Because that's how you stay compliant and legal. For sure.
So it'll probably help me at the beginning anyways.
Yes. Yeah, like brand recognition a little bit.
Yeah.
How in the world? Who set this up? All right,
They stole your keyboard, I heard.
it's right there. Go to roll in this section. Okay. There she is. budget. Oh, Tyson, can you see that? Still there? Oh, next question. Probably not, so I hit stop share. Alright, cool. Kyson, did you have any questions on that last little bit? Sweet. It's pretty straightforward, like qualifying somebody buyer or seller, it's just asking. Like, number one questions you wanna know is, what's their motivation? Why do they wanna buy or sell? What's their time? Like, if you could get that. And answer a few other questions here or there, like you have a pretty solid understanding of what you can do to help, for sure, so. Alright, what's this one? Win the buyer. Let's talk about winning a buyer. Alright, a buyer is getting the appointment, preparing the consult, conducting the buyer consult. Getting the signed agreement, recaps daily success. The right approach to close for a meeting is the only approach. Pretty much. Pretty straightforward. What is this? This is basically a sales funnel. So pipeline sales funnel, you're gonna start with somebody who raises their hand and says, hey, I have a need. Whether that be open house, anybody that basically says, hey, I'm interested. Cool, you're now a lead, and I'm gonna funnel you through until you have a signed agreement with me and you're a client. So the bigger your lead pipeline is, the bigger your client pipeline is gonna be. The bigger your client pipeline is, the more closings you'll have, the more money you'll make. And a perfect. Any questions on that? Like, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah. There's not really a set. You know, sometimes it goes super fast and you go from lead to client in a day, and sometimes it takes 2-3 years. So the SOI stuff can definitely take a little bit longer. And also those are the ones that usually I'll get, you know, hey, I need to sell my house. Can you come over? On the way.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's both sides. 7-step buyer service cycle. Let's see what they got here. Legal appointments, prepare, buyer, consult, find a home, offer, contract close, post. Yeah, sounds about right. Getting the appointment, respond right away, get valid contact information, determine their motivation, set an appointment, time and date for as soon as possible. Let's talk about close appointment tactics. All right, let's talk about setting the appointment, and we'll kind of just go through. So if somebody says, hey, I'm thinking about buying a house. Let's walk through, what would you say? Or do you want to go the other way? Do you want to ask me? And I'll roll you through how I would try to set that appointment.
We can start.
We don't necessarily have to role play it, like, we don't have to get into character, but.
So I'm ready to sell my house.
Okay.
Or actually, I'm ready to buy a house.
You wanna buy a house?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, awesome, what had you want to buy a house right
got a new kid, kinda, looking to upgrade a little bit, so
Yeah.
a little bit bigger,
Bigger.
yeah.
Awesome, that's exciting. How old's your kid?
Year old.
A year, dang, man. You're in the thick of it, dude. You're past, is he sleeping now, right?
Some nights.
So climbs into your bed sometimes, and I feel you there. Sweet, so you need to be replaced. Are you guys renting? Are you in your house right now?
Renting.
Renting, okay, cool, so you're like kind of first home,
Yep,
fantastic. Is it just you and your son?
yeah, and my wife.
And your wife,
Just
okay. Awesome, what like perfect world, how soon would you guys want to be into your new house?
probably the beginning of this next year.
Okay, so like next 6 months or so, real ideally, probably by the end of the year then. Okay, fantastic. Well, I don't mind, why don't we do this? A lot of my clients have found it super helpful. We can meet together, do a quick 30-40 minute buyer consult. Essentially, especially since you're buying your first home, we'll meet together. I'll kind of give you a 30,000 foot view, like airplane view of what it's like to buy a house start to finish. So you guys kind of understand the whole process, we'll answer any questions. And then it allows me to kind of understand more of what we're looking for in a house. We can kind of look and see what the market looks like, what's out there right now, and see if there's any that kind of pique your interest. Any objections to having that meeting with me?
No,
Fantastic. Would it be better, would you guys prefer to meet during the week or on the weekends?
let's do during the week.
During the week? Fantastic. So today's Monday, would Wednesday or Thursday work better for
Let's do Wednesday
you? Wednesday? Fantastic. And afternoon or evening, which would you guys prefer?
evening.
Evenings?
Yeah.
Cool. How's 6:30 sound?
Yeah,
Okay, fantastic. Sweet. We'll meet Wednesday at 6:30. Like I said, we'll kind of go over 30,000 foot view. Think of any questions you might have between now and then. We'll kind of talk the whole gambit. Start kind of thinking about preferred areas, things of that nature, and we'll kind of dive into it more on Wednesday.
sounds awesome.
Fantastic. Cool. See you then. That's
Like it.
that's the extent. Like that really is 90% of the appointments and how I sell. So it's a couple of questions. Why do you want to buy a house? Very, very high level. It's too small. Okay, fantastic. Who's buying the house? Well, it's the three of us. Fantastic. And the only thing I didn't add in there is like, hey, when would be a good time where you and your wife can be with me at the same time? That'd be the only thing that I would probably tweak in what I just said to make sure that both people are there at the same time.
Just making sure they're both deciding parties are at
Yeah.
the appointment.
Yeah, I want them both there because they're gonna have different questions. And I wanna be able to answer their questions together and make sure that we're all on the same page. Because I've had this where I've met with one and not the other, circumstance, whatever, and they never go as smooth.
So you do the point now where you kind of,
I prefer it.
just,
There are some times where I'll set it for both of them and only one of them will show up. And it's like, hey, this is what it is, like rock and roll. A lot of times in that situation, I'm like, cool. Are you guys both planning on being on the loan? Does your wife work? Oh, she's not working right now. Like, okay, cool. Realistically, then I don't need her signature on any of the papers or the documents, so I can just sign this with you because you're gonna be the one signing everything. No worries, we'll go through everything. I'll still have them sign it. We'll rock and roll. Even in that situation, it's tough 'cause now you're presenting information on the fly instead of a solidified appointment. So still though, I'll sign it and roll with them. So, yeah. You wanna try one?
sure.
Okay.
Okay, so you're
I'll just be a buyer. Hey, you're in real estate, right?
yeah, yeah,
Awesome. How's the market?
it's great. What makes you ask?
Well, we're thinking about buying a house.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
awesome,
yeah.
awesome. What's your time frame?
Good question. Probably like the next, I don't know, 6 months to a year.
Oh, perfect. So probably end of this year, beginning of next year.
Yeah, we haven't really given it a lot of thought, but yeah, probably like, I would say by, next April for sure.
Awesome. Are you guys still over there in Farmington?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
You still got the 2 pups?
Yeah, we do. Still got the 2 dogs. I don't know if you know this, but my wife's actually pregnant. We're expecting her first, so
Congratulations.
kind of just ready to make that next step, the little 1 bedroom place we got right now is just, it's not gonna work, so.
For sure.
Kind of been looking a little bit, gone to a few open houses and things, had one agent show us a couple properties. But yeah, I'm not really sure, timing wasn't quite right, so we're thinking sometime in the future here.
Awesome. Where about you guys looking?
Really anywhere in Davis County, I think would be fine. So,
Perfect.
yeah.
Perfect. Well, shoot, I'd love to give you guys some more info about the search for a new home. Can we get you guys down to the office, you and the wife, and we'll kind of discuss things further?
yeah, man, I think we can do that for sure.
Perfect.
Yeah.
When's a good time for you guys?
Let me chat with her and I'll get back to you.
The option closed there. Next
I'm
meeting,
being
mornings are-
mean.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm being.
No, you're
all on
good.
my part.
No, you're not. It's role playing is never fun. Yeah, no, why don't we meet next do you work weekends?
Yeah,
You do?
morning or night.
Saturday afternoon would probably be the best for us.
At what time?
Let's go like 2 o'clock.
Sounds great. I'm super excited. Kind of help you guys through this process and looking forward to see you guys 2 o'clock Saturday.
Fantastic, man, can't wait.
Perfect.
The
I hate
more like, dude, it's better to like, be uncomfortable. Like, are you married?
Yeah.
Have your wife sit down with a buyer and run through a buyer presentation with her. Do it a few different times. And like, I would like, first little bit, I'd be like, hey, be nice, tell me yes to everything that I ask. And as you get more comfortable, be like, cool, I want you to ask actual questions that you would ask if you didn't.
Objection.
Yeah. Not even like, don't even make them up, but like, hey, if you didn't know me and we sat down and had this
How would
conversation,
you
what questions? How would you answer that? And then you'll get some real like, and then it gives you an opportunity to be like, oh dang, that is a good question, and I'm not sure how I would answer that. Cool. I'll workshop some stuff or ask around, see how other people answer. So super safe. She's gonna be a good sounding board of like, hey, you sounded dumb,
Kinda like
or
a fruit
no,
cake.
that sounded really good. Like, yeah, I'd work with you. And then the more you do it, the more you'll find your groove. And then it's second nature to just a couple questions here and there, find a couple things to build some rapport on and some commonality. And you're rocking. Then you will think about it. So, but yeah, setting the appointment. I'll give you a few other, well, as we go. There's a way to ask a question. People don't like saying yes because it's committal. People like to say no because it keeps them in charge. If I say yes to you, it feels like I'm giving in. If I say no, power is mine and I'm in control. Hey, do you have any objections to us meeting to make sure you're prepared to buy a house? Do I have any objections to that? No, I don't have any objections to that. Cool. By saying no, and you feel like you have the power and the control, you're agreeing to what I want you to do. No, that sounds great. Fantastic. Would it be easier for you guys to meet here or here? Like, or you can just go, hey, when's the best time for you guys to meet? You don't have to option close. Like, I think I did 7 option closes in there. You can do 1. It won't be a good time for you guys to meet. The only thing I found with that is that sometimes they can go, well, let me go check with my wife and get back. Okay, great. Fantastic, man. Yeah, chat with her. Let me know what would work best for you guys. Like, there are some times where it's like, it's not an objection. They're not trying to get out of it. There's legitimately, shoot, I don't know what my schedule looks like this week. Let me ask my wife. Hang tight. Fantastic. No worries. Chat with her. Is it normally better for you guys to meet during the week or on the weekends? Normally Saturdays are the freest day. Fantastic. Why don't we pencil you in for Saturday? I'm assuming Saturday mornings are probably better before the midday gets busy. Yeah. Why don't we just kind of pencil this in for Saturday at 10? If there's any issues with that, let me know. I'm happy to change it to make sure it makes sense for you guys. Now you've set a very soft appointment with no commitment, but you have an appointment on the books. So there is a small, yeah, no, that normally that works for us. Let me just make sure I'm not crazy. Fantastic. Rock and roll. So
What did you originally, you said, do you have any objections to you and me sitting down?
any objections? Do you have any objections to us doing a buyer consult to make sure you're prepared? Buy a house, sell a house, anything like that. And then if they do, they'll tell you yes. Well, yeah, I'm not ready for that. And then you can follow it up with a open-ended, you're not ready for that? Oh, we're just not ready to commit to something. Okay, it sounds like you want to make sure that you have all the information you need before you make a decision. Well, and then it just gives you an opportunity to ask some follow-up questions. Hey, that's fantastic. Like, in the never split the difference, he says that no is the beginning of the negotiation. So, in a sense, setting the appointment is a little bit of a negotiation. Hey, we're really not ready. Hey, no problem, I understand. Is there anything particular that you don't feel ready about to have a buyer consult or to get prepared? Well, we're just not ready to start looking. Hey, not a problem. Most of the clients that I meet with don't start looking at houses for 3 to 6, sometimes a year after we meet. But they found it really beneficial because a lot of them have questions that they don't know where to get the answers. And you can kind of leave it at that. You could ask in follow-up of like, and sometimes calling it out, hey, I know, like, I don't want to seem like, if you say don't, it makes you think, hey, I know I kind of might seem pushy right now, and I want to make sure that you understand that my timeline is your timeline. Whenever you guys are ready, I'm happy to help you. I want you to understand that I'm here to help. Type thing. So, and that might just be one that you follow up with, practice. So,
Do you always set those appointments for here in the office?
95%. Yep. So I met with one last week and he lives in Mayville. So I drove down to our Mayville office and I hit. So we met at 4:30 right after work and it was easier for me that day to go to him than to have him. So, but buyers always here. Sellers, you go to their house. So, and we'll dive into buyer broker and stuff here, but after August 17th, I think, is when the settlement's supposed to take effect. You legally have to have a buyer call or a buyer broker agreement before you show the properties.
Gonna change up some people's.
It does.
processes,
I mean,
but
yeah, that's been my process from the start, where I'm like, hey, if you can't commit, to come in and meeting with me and agreeing to work with me, you need to find somebody else. I'm not gonna run around for the next 3 months showing you properties for you to then tell me that you found somebody else and you're under
So you're kind of saying it's not really gonna change anything for the way that you want.
not even.
So I guess this is my one little question and I don't wanna get too, I know
Yeah.
it's kind of a separate animal,
good.
so, but. Part of that is you're negotiating the commission, correct? And. What does that look like for you?
Exactly. Nothing, like literally nothing has changed. Like the only thing that has changed is there's more of a spotlight.
So the agreement would have to be signed before even that buyer consultation, before they can even.
You
come
sign
in?
it at the buyer.
Okay, so that's what that's for.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's essentially by law, it's just that before you physically go show them a property.
Correct.
So
You have
it's
to have
not
an
gonna be
agency.
doing that, so my fee's 3%.
No.
It's still something.
Yeah,
you're
I do
sitting
that.
down.
So yeah, the buyer consult is that. So
Okay.
it's like you can still send CMAs, you can still provide all of this value. It's when you start acting in the role of a fiduciary or the agent that you have to have an agreement. So
Cool.
really, like, I think it's more impactful in some other states than it is here. Because from day one, I'm like, hey, we meet, I go over a buyer consult, you sign the buyer agency agreement, and then we start doing these other things. If we don't get that, I've done it a few times, and I get burned more than I don't. Where I'm like, oh, we'll just go, I'll show you a couple houses, deal, no big deal,
And do a
no
few
big
more,
deal.
another
Oh,
month.
we're under contract with the builder. I'm like, you're what?
All of a sudden,
And I don't have
put
an
in
agency
serious
agreement to
time.
say, hey, no worries, Tyson, you have any questions or whatever, hit me up, dude. Anyways, so yeah, it's very much like I've got a process and we go through what the commission looks like. The commission hasn't changed. People just would always pitch it as, well, I work for the buyers for free. No, you don't. You never have. Your agency agreement with the buyer says the buyer agrees to pay this percentage to the brokerage. This is how it can be paid. From the seller's offering a buyer or a co-op commission, from closing costs, or the buyer can bring it in. So it was always like, hey, listen, here's how it works. I would write 3% in my buyer's agency commission, and I would say, hey, right now, most sellers are offering 2.5% to 3% of the BAC for my commission. That's how I get paid. Like I made it very clear, I'm going to be paid for doing this. Like I would love to do it for free, and if the mortgage would take IOUs or high fives, I would do it all day long, but they don't, so I don't. This is how I get paid. In most cases, when the seller lists the property, they agree with a certain percentage. Part of that percentage is shared with the buyer's agent when they bring a ready, willing, and able buyer. That's part of my job, is to bring you the properties that would fit and then to help you negotiate the contract. That's how I'm going to get paid at the end. I don't get paid anything before then, so I'm operating in faith that we're gonna get this done. Have any questions on that? Here's where you need to be aware. If we go to a for sale by owner and they refuse to pay a buyer's agent commission, it now falls to you to pay this commission to the brokerage. Does that make sense? Yes. Great. More than likely, we're not gonna run into that issue because most of the houses we look at are gonna have some sort of a list or buying agent commission. But it is important to know that this is something that we might have to, and if that happens, then you and I have to work it out and make sure it makes sense.
What's your percentage of your transactions that the seller paid for, the seller's brokerage paid for?
Like the offer of BAC?
So cause I would, you just hit on that, I was kind of told that, yeah, the majority of the time, the seller's broker is going to pay the
Yeah.
buyer's fees, the buyer's commission.
Mhm.
What percentage of transactions would you
Don't
say?
do that.
Or do,
Uh,
and so like when you sit down in this, pre-buyer
Mhm.
consultation. And you're talking about that stuff, you can say something like, 95
Oh,
plus
yeah.
percent of the time.
What I say is, hey, this is what it normally is. And this is the truth. It's like, hey, I've never come back and enforced this full percent if it's not there. Some agents do. Dalton has a really good script of like, hey, if they are offering 3, are you okay if I send them a request to up the commission since so you don't have to pay for it? Like, that's a fantastic line. Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, so we're on the same page. If somebody is offering less than 3%, which is what you're contractually negotiated at, you're okay if we send them an addendum, a commission agreement that says we're gonna move this up to 3%. Absolutely. Right now, you could probably get away with it. The last few years, it was really difficult when it was a buyer frenzy to get people to agree to more commission because they had 15 offers on the table. So that one, it was kind of like dealer's choice.
So sometimes buying agent was kind of getting the
Absolutely.
short stick during that time.
Sometimes. There are some, like I've done some at 2%. And I've done some at 3.5. So it's like, kind of just depends, and it's individually. My thing is always like, hey, I've never come back to push somebody on this. You and I aren't gonna have a problem because I work with people that I know, like, and trust, and I think you look like a pretty cool dude, and I'm sure we can work this out if we run into a situation. Do you have any questions on that, or do you have any concerns about that? No, I think that's.
It's kind of what it does. If it's a big deal to you, it's gonna be a bigger deal to them.
Yeah. And like really truly, it's most of the time, it's not an issue. I've had some we work with for sale by owners. And like, that's usually where I push it, like, hey, listen, there might be some for sale by owners that refuse to pay, and in that case, we're gonna have to find a way to work this into the offer or have you pay for it. I love you, I'd love to represent you, can't do this for free.
And sometimes that might be that rare occasion that you don't get your full 3%, but you're gonna get some.
Yeah, 2.5. And that might be like, hey, listen, the seller's willing to offer a 1% commission. Any objections to you bringing in the other 1.5%? We have contractual agreement at 3. This is actually giving you a discount because of the situation. I really want to make sure you're taken care of. Also, it's important to me that I put food on the table.
For sure.
So different ways to do it. Depends on the seller, depends on the buyer. Most buyers are fine with it. It also depends on their situation. You can get some of it out of closing costs. Buyers can use closing costs, to pay commissions. So that's gonna be more specific. 90% of your deals, you're not gonna have to worry about. Sellers are gonna offer that. The only thing that might change is the percentages that they start to offer. It'll be an interesting couple months. See how it all shakes out. Because we can't advertise the BAC on the MLS anymore. So
BAC. Sorry.
buyer agent. Sorry. Yeah.
No, I said.
No, dude.
Buyer's agent.
Yeah. So that's the only thing that might be a little bit. How do you let other agents know that you're willing to offer these?
And it would be more probably on the buyer's agent end that's gonna be kind of nitpicked after this whole thing comes into play than the listing agent, or.
Maybe.
But as far as nothing has changed in the respect that commission has always been a negotiable thing since the beginning of time. But you might have people just kind of trying to undercut the market as a whole by just being the 2% guy or the 1.5% guy
Yeah.
or whatever.
I've known agents that their whole stick was buy with me, list for free. Buy with me, list for 1%. And they would charge a 1% listing agent commission, and then whatever they wanted to pay for the buyer's agent. And then they would represent on the buy side. Like, it's from the beginning of time, it's always been. It's because agents are, well, the standard is 6%. Well, industry standard is 6. We've said it for 150 years that everybody had that, well, it has to be 6%. No, it could be 10%. Would you like me to up it? Happy to charge you more. Like, and some agents, I've done it, take them at 7 or 7.5%, depending on what it is. Take some at 10%. It's just like, what it is. So, yeah, it's always been negotiable. The only thing that's gonna be interesting is how we can advertise it, what that looks like. And then getting the agreement in place with the offer, I think is last I heard how it needs to be done. There'll be some maneuvering, but I'm not super concerned with it, so. Worst case, buyers have to bring in a couple extra grand, so. Alright. Fill the benefits, take back clothes, these are different ways to close for stuff. I don't wanna go through all this. I don't know about what they're saying up there. Benefits of meeting, obviously, tell them why they wanna meet with you. Take back clothes. Maybe this isn't right for you, the takeaway. Maybe this isn't the right time for you.
Pull back.
Wait a minute, you don't get to decide what's right for me. No, let's do it right now. A little take back clothes or reverse psychology is what they used to call it.
Pit the husband against the wife or the wife against the husband.
Don't
Sounds
recommend
like-
that.
Sounds like your husband's really not ready to make a move right now, so.
Sounds like now's maybe not the right time for you guys. Well, let me check. Quick job. I would never single. I would never single one, but I would mind the other. Hey, it seems like maybe right now is the best time for it. Sounds like, looks like, seems like, those are great ways to label what's in that book. You label the situation, and then they either agree with the label or they say no. Hey, it sounds like this maybe really isn't that. It sounds like this isn't important to you guys, right? No, it's super important for us. We're just really busy with X, Y, Z. Oh, okay. This is important. You guys are just busy. You have family income. Yeah. Awesome, no worries. Let's meet when family's out of town. How's next Monday? Like that type of. Sometimes mislabeling is better than actually getting. Can I tell you
For sure.
tie downs, the assumptive close, when we meet, when we list your house, when we help you buy, when you move in, all of that. And then tie downs, right? That's really, I know there's more, but that's right. Makes sense, right? Ask questions, empathize, identify the real issue, offer a solution, urge an agreement. Yeah, any questions on that?
So,
I was gonna say. Ask questions, understand where they're coming from. The agreement part. Preparing for the buyer consult, confirm it. Ensure the decision makers attend, so again, one week at a time for both of you. Who all is gonna be buying the house? What does the situation look like? Oh, it's me and my dad. Oh, you and your dad, fantastic, when we good time, we can both be. We could all meet. Make sure you're getting the right people in the room. Your buyer guide, prepare the meeting space, review the lead sheet. The buyer value prop. I'll show you I think KW has their guide to home ownership. I'll show you what I use. If you want it, I'll send you a copy of it. So. That is the foundation of it. Right there. You can just keep it. There were other people in the room that I was gonna make you guys share it, but it's just you, so wait. So it basically goes through all of that, what it looks like, start to close. They're gonna meet at the console, that's where we are today. We're gonna go through what you're looking for in a house, your timeline, what's important to you when we're buying a house. We're gonna talk about searching for homes. There's things in there like, we only wanna look at, I think it says 5 to 6 in a day.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, if you're in a real hurry and you need a house this weekend, like that's about what we're looking at. Otherwise, we're gonna be onesie twosies, maybe 2 or 3 or 4, depending on. Showing notice, and we want to give them as much notice as we can. It doesn't necessarily have to be the day before. Couple hours though is usually polite. There will be some that we see that we want to try and get in ASAP. I'll do what I can to get it as quickly as I can. Let's see, offerings. Once we find a house you're interested in, the next step is writing the offer. I'll go through. Troy said he forgot it in coming, so if you aren't done yet, whatever. Anyways.
You put that much together by now.
Like, figured he wasn't gonna show. Yeah, anyway, then we talk about what it looks like to write the offer. I'll share a couple other things we can have here in a minute too, and then from there, we talk about the major deadlines for the buyer. Due diligence, that's when you have to inspect your property. Finance and appraisal, that's when we have to make sure your financing looks right. We're gonna look closely with the lender. The bank's gonna order the appraisal, which is a third party that comes out to make sure basically the value is in line. Truth be told, that's a CYA for the bank. Just make sure that the bank is investing in a property and it's worth investing in. They're lending you money on something that they can resell if they have to. After that, we move to settlement. Settlement, we're gonna meet at the title company. You're gonna sign a stack of docs about yay big. It take about 30 to 40 minutes. After we settle everything, plan on the next day to get possession of the property. In Utah, in order for the house to be yours, it has to be funded, money has to be sent, bank has to get their money, and it has to be reported at the county, showing that it's officially yours. Until that happens, it's technically not yours. Don't move anything in. We'll get keys after that point. Plan on the next day. Typically, I try to have our settlement deadlines on Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday, so that ideally you have keys by Friday and can move it over that. Doesn't always work out like that, but that's what I shoot. Super
It has
high
to be-
level.
sorry.
Yeah.
It has to be recorded before they can even get.
So funded and recorded. Usually, realistically, usually it's next day. So unless you sign super early and the money's already there, you can have it done the same day. It's easier to try and do it the day before. Leave some wiggle room if there's any issues or last minute.
For sure.
So. What questions do you have? You can take that and look at it.
You guys put this together, huh?
Yep.
You guys.
It-
No, this is good stuff. Yeah, I need to. One, kind of a family friend, I need to, up to the
Nice.
point where I need to kind of ask them for the consultation, I need to just, their, parents, they're living in their parents' house, their
Okay.
parents are on a mission.
Yeah.
They sold their house, down in Payson before, and now they're up in Brigham City.
Okay.
I think they just used like a neighbor of theirs down in Payson to sell their house
Okay.
before, like, I don't feel like
Yeah.
it's this, this.
Right.
But I need to kind of start this conversation.
Yeah.
and Go fishing with them here this next week, and I'm gonna
When's their parents getting back from the mission?
like, I wanna say December
Okay.
to the end of this year.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great opportunity when you're fishing. Hey man, how's the house? What are you guys doing? Sweet. When are your parents coming back? Oh, that's sweet. How are they liking their mission? What's going on? Awesome. What's your guys' plan when they come back? Y'all gonna live together or what are you thinking? All right, get our own place. Like, absolutely, I mean, that's a perfect opportunity. Ask them some questions, find out what their plan is, and then see if there's need. Oh, great. Get your own place. You guys wanting to buy again? You think you're gonna rent? Or what do you think? Whatever. Fantastic, man. Hey, I don't know if you know this, but I'm licensed now. Really getting into this, whatever. Like, be happy to have a buyer consult with you and see how I can help you guys with that.
Absolutely.
So. Take that with you, walk through it.
Thank you. I will.
Sure.
Certainly will.
Buyer guide content. I'm assuming this is the one that. Credit check request? What is that? Don't ask for a credit check. No. Don't do that. That's a lender's job, not yours. I'm guessing that this is the. Buyer guide, yeah. This is the buyer guide that they have in Cato. I would use maybe a preference.
One step.
If somebody asks you a question you don't know the answer to. Depending on the question, I would always say, hey, that's a great question. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Let me look into that.
Want to make sure I don't give you any correct information.
And that's it.
Research.
Hey, what? That's a good question. I haven't really considered. Let me look into that a little bit and run it back to you. Can I ask why you're super like, why is that important? What's the neighborhood like? What's the crime rate? Oh, goodness, I have no idea. That's a good question. Though. Do you like to I can probably find some information for you. I'm gonna send it to you. Yeah. Sounds like you really want to make sure you're in a safe neighborhood. Yeah, it's really important. We live in a really sketchy neighborhood. Ooh, how sketchy? Oh, gunshots. Gunshots are fireworks. Because I get blown up on Ring all the time saying gunshots, but they're always fireworks. Oh, no, they're real gunshots. Somebody got murdered across the street.
Let's get you out of there.
You're not joking. You're in the hood. Well, welcome to suburbia. Welcome to Utah. Doesn't happen as much. So, neighborhood dream guide, fire guide, wish list, how home buying works. You can go through. I mean, a lot of the stuff is going to be, go through it, pick what you like, use what fits with you. If it doesn't, don't use it. Like there might be a few things in there that would be good if you want to throw it in. Not having ever closed one before, like it could be a good thing to lean on. Like, hey, here's what to expect. You bought a house before?
I tried to write 3 years ago when
Yeah.
I should have and never did, but that was my one experience working with an agent.
I was gonna say, I bought a house like 3 years after I started selling. So, like, people that have done it have a little bit of a leg up because they've been through the experience. Or my experience was like, I was piggybacking off of what other people had said until I did a couple myself. And then I was like, all right, cool. I know what it is. I've seen it. Fantastic. Let's rock. So, yeah, so this could be good to kind of get some ideas of like what it looks like.
For sure.
Home loans made simple. I haven't really done it. Unity is probably a good one to go to. I've got a few others that I've had relationships with for a few years that I work with. But if they're in-house, then they're gonna be solid and reputable. So I would probably leverage them for the first little bit.
For sure.
You also have, if there's an issue, you got the Greens, you got Jinky, you got the office staff to be like, hey, missing something here, what's happening? So,
With this, like my first buyer consult or whatnot, would
Yeah.
you recommend having somebody else in on that consult or spearheading that by yourself and then?
if you, I'm gonna say, if you wanted, the only thing with that is you probably be looking to partner with someone. So if you wanted to partner, there's lots of people, I'd be happy to partner with you on the first couple if you wanted to. I know, like, I'm not entirely sure the ins and outs of the program. I think that's Allison's role, and she can be there to help with that type of stuff.
Maybe ask her about that.
Chat with her about that, see that. If for whatever reason, like you're not comfortable with it or you want somebody else there, I'm happy to go there and meet with them with you. And then just kind of piggyback you on the first couple. Hey, we need to do this, we need to do that. Have the conversations with them together. Like I'd be fine. So
Right.
I think I'll just say chat with Allison because you and I would have to do some sort of referral thing if that's included as part of the. Are you in productivity coaching?
I know I'm doing something with Allison, where the first
Yeah,
few of my deals.
Yeah. Yeah. so I was gonna say, I think that's how it's set up with her. Chat with her about that. That would probably be the best way to go, 'cause otherwise I think you have to do her and then me a little bit. So, like, if you want to do that, happy to do it, or I can work it out with them. But like I said, I kind of think that's her position. It's like
Chat with you.
hand holding for the first couple. So,
Appreciate you.
but I'm easy, dude. So, not trying to step on anybody's toes or anything.
No, you're
so.
good. That's the
Uh,
question.
yeah. Let's see, competitive advantage, real value experience. Um. Those are good because it just leverages KW in the office unless you have your own numbers. I don't really put much emphasis on what I've done, my numbers. I don't think I've ever in a meeting been like, here's my stats. This is how many I've closed. This is how many buyers I've helped. Nobody's ever asked. Usually it's like if you can show that you're confident and you understand it, they're just gonna. So. Ahas, conducting the buyer consult. Pairing. Here's your. Word. Affirmation. I am knowledgeable, caring, and the best agent for these clients. They will appreciate my expertise and preparation and choose me to represent them in the buyer. Yeah. It is it is a little bit of a mental game, mental shift. If you can personally go, I'm going to be the best agent for everybody that I work with. Whether that's I'm brand new, I've been doing this 100 years. Like if you're working with me, I'm the best agent. It just gives you a little bit of a like confidence. And even though you're new, and even though you might be less experienced, hey, I'm still the best agent for you.
You're gonna work harder for you.
Yeah. Yeah. However you want to like, it can just be a mental shift. Like, oh, everybody knows an agent. Yeah, they do. Everybody knows a lot of shitty agents.
Yeah, it means there's a lot of subpar, not so good ones.
Yeah. And even like, there's a lot of awesome agents in this office. It's still like, hey, if I'm on that appointment, like, no, I'm winning.
Gotta have that.
Yeah, like, no, like, I'm the best one for you. Here's why. I'm awesome. That's it. That's my reason. You want to work with me because I'm awesome. Well, prove it. No, prove that I'm not awesome. You can't prove that. Welcome to buyer. So I'll walk you through at least. I think this is the one online. You want to go through it, kind of get an idea. Let's see. Closing for the agreement. I'll show you right there. So when somebody comes in, how's your day? A little bit of a small talk. What's new? What's going on? How was work? What do you guys got planned for the day? Awesome. Cool. All right. So I know we kind of went over this a little bit. Tell me again, just real quick. What are we looking for? What's your motive? What are we look? Why are you? What's your motivation to buy a house? Why are you looking to buy a house? What has you thinking about buying a house? What is better than why? Why is accusatory? Why did you do that? What made you do that? Like growing up, why did you spill that? What made you spill your milk? It's different curiosity versus accusatory. So cool. What has you guys thinking about buying a house? Fantastic. Even like we'll go over it on the phone. I'll go over it again in person. Why don't we chat a little bit? We kind of went through this, but just remind me, what is it that has you guys thinking about buying a house right now? And I start writing notes down on the back of usually on the back of this. I'll give you this too. So usually in here, or I just flip it over. Like, cool. Tell me again. Oh, work, job change, kids, house too small. Fantastic. No worries. Before the meeting, usually I'll find out if they have a house to sell. And if they do, I'll try to do all this when I go on the listing appointment. That is one thing we didn't talk about. If they're listing and buying, I don't go to their house for the listing appointment and then have them come here for the buyer appointment. It's all at the house. Together. What had you interested? Yada 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 yada. Fantastic. Cool. Well, hey, why don't we go through this first? And I give them that piece of paper. We're gonna go through this. This is a 30,000 foot view of what it looks like to buy a home. Whether you bought a home before or not, it's a good refresher or it's a good information to kind of know what to expect as we go through this. So we're gonna start the consult. We're gonna talk about what you're looking for in a house, what's important to you in a house. talk about budget a little bit, we're gonna get you set up on some hot sheets, see what's out there. Kind of go through what that all looks like. When we start looking at houses, you know, one or two at a time. If we wanna pack a bunch into a day, like say a Saturday, that's fine, I really recommend less than 6 houses. If we do more than that, it really gets confusing and the houses kind of start running together, and it's hard to remember which ones you actually like. So if we do one or two at a time, right now, to be honest, most of my clients, we're looking at like one or two when we go out. We're not really going. We're gonna talk about lender. What, you guys met with a lender yet? Kinda. Okay, cool. Tell me about that. Who'd you meet with? Did they give you pre-approval? How's that process? Okay, great. And it's pretty, like, depending on who it is, unless I've met with them first and then given them my lender referral, it's not uncommon for them to be like, oh yeah, I chatted with my bank, or I chatted with Rocket Mortgage, or I chatted with somebody online. Hey, that's fantastic. Would you have any objections to me giving you one of the lenders that I work with and I really trust and I know he gets stuff done? If they say, no, it's a family friend, we're good. Fantastic. Would you mind, like, send me her information when you get a chance, but I can reach out to her and just make sure I have all my information correct. That, because I need to be in contact with her. You're gonna need a pre-approval letter. You wanna make sure that she's actually verified everything and they've done the application. Like, cool, how's their file looking? They told me 500 range is kind of what they're thinking. Is that kind of what you're seeing on your side? And you put them through, this is a lending thing, but do you have a DU approval, desktop underwriting? Like, did they run through that already? It's in the weeds. He's gonna be a good one to start with, that you can kind of say, you know, I've got a buyer with you, it's my first one. I need you to hold my hand and make sure and teach me as we go. Like the first one I did, I told the one guy, like, hey man, this is my very first deal. So like, make sure, like, you know, teach me as we go and make sure that, like, just a heads up, I don't know what I'm doing yet. So I'm gonna really rely on you to make sure that we get this done properly. And again, when you're asking somebody for help, they feel a vested interest in your success. So. We'll go through lender stuff briefly. If they don't have one, no, I haven't met with one yet. Hey, no worries. We're gonna go ahead and do when we're done here is I'll reach out to my lender. You know, I'll have Jason reach out to you. I'll give him a call, kind of let him know what we talked about. He'll reach out to you. You guys can set up a time. He's the one that's gonna look at basically your W-2s, your debts. He's the one that's gonna give us a number that we can qualify at. Fantastic. Until we do that, you guys have an idea of kind of what you think you'll qualify for, or where you want your payment to be. Most people are gonna go the payment route. Yeah, we really want it to be under $3,000. Okay, cool. You could pull up a quick calculator. $3,000 is my payment, interest rate is 7%. What can I afford? And then put a range $50,000 in that. It said, you know, you can afford $3,000 right now. It's probably gonna be 4,000 or 400 grand. Okay, great. So we're gonna be looking probably around 400. Does that sound about right? What you guys are thinking? Yeah, probably in there. Great. We'll start our search here. Depending on timeline, sometimes I'll even earmark that table for later. Fantastic. You guys have an idea of where you want to be on the payment. Okay, great. I'll set up a search as soon as you guys chat with Jason and we find out for sure that you're pre-qualified and ready to go. Just a couple side notes here. If they're saying, you know, 800 and they only qualify for 4, and you send them houses that are 800 range, anything in 4 is gonna look like.
You set yourself up for a test.
Super hard to get that, like, reset the expectations. Versus, hey, let's wait, okay, fantastic, I think we'll be fine. Tell me a little bit about kind of what you're looking for in a house. And then, that's the next thing, but all, kind of the notes that I put as far as like, you know, hey, fantastic, what's your time frame? You know, we said 6 months, give or take. Fantastic, price range is fixed. Cool. How many bedrooms are we looking for? How many bathrooms are we looking for? Is there any type of house that you don't want to live in? Do you care if it's a split level? Do you care if it's a mobile home? Do you care if it's a townhome or a condo? You want a rambler, a 2-story? Like, is there anything? It's easier to go, hey, is there any type of house you really don't want to even consider? Usually I take mobile homes off, whether they want me to or not, because that will fine. It's not a hard sell for me to be like, we can, absolutely. If that would you prefer, we can do it. Mobile homes don't hold their value as well, they don't resell as well, and you're gonna have a lot of most. We can do it if you'd like to. Your money's gonna go further if you buy a condo or a townhome, they'll resell better, they hold their value better, and they appreciate faster.
Still be here in 50 years.
So, I don't think I've ever closed a mobile home. Some people do, some people make good money out of it. It's never been an interest to me, and like honestly, truly filled up any other house. So, it's not hard for me to sell that, like. No, I'm not gonna go show you that because
There's rats and mice living underneath every single one.
well, I'm really truly, we can break down, it's like, well, they're so much cheaper, I'm like, yeah, back then, the $800 a month lot rent, you have to pay. Get you that condo or that townhome over there, at the same price, in a better facility and doesn't have the stigma of a mobile. Like, you're welcome. Anyways, not good or bad, I have my preference, if really somebody was like, no, that's what I wanna be, fantastic, man, we'll just look at that. So, anyways, you kind of narrow in the type of house they're looking for. From there, then I write down, all right, what else is an absolute necessity that we gotta have in the next house? Oh, I have to have 2-car garage, 3-car garage, fantastic. Write notes, all right, and then at the end, I'll always say, okay, cool, so we got, this is kind of what we're looking for. 4-bed, 2.5 to 3 bath, ideally, in Davis County, prefer North Davis, you're fine going as far south as Layton, or whatever. North Davis, you're good, you don't really wanna go any further south than Farmington or Kaysville, no worries. You wanna be, whatever their needs are, where they want it, fantastic, hey, great, what am I missing? What else do we need to be looking for the house? And then they sent me, that's all the big stuff, we would like a yard. Okay, cool, you prefer a yard, is that a deal breaker? No, it's fine, so if we had a townhome that had a shared yard, would that be an option for you? If they allow pets, okay, cool, tell me about your pets, what kind of pets do you have? I got 14 dogs, cool, townhome's not gonna work for you. You gotta get rid of some dogs, we gotta find you a different house, because there's no way that's gonna fly. Like, just that. Back and forth to make sure that you're narrowing their search so that they are looking at the right stuff. And then so that you understand what they're looking for when you start. Okay, great, we have a pretty good idea of what you're looking for. What other questions do you have? None other questions, great. Do you have any hesitations about working with me? No, everything's great, cool. Any objection to get the paperwork knocked out of the way so we can rock and roll and get you guys to the house? No, sounds great, fantastic. Here we go, and then I go through the paperwork. There's usually 3 that I'll print out. Print out the buyer agency agreement, wire fraud notice, and then buyer due diligence checklist. Should have printed it out for you here, but. And then I'll go through in order. I usually do buyer due diligence, and then I do buyer agency agreement, and then wire fraud. Buyer due diligence, I say, hey, listen, this literally is just a list of things that you can have inspected when you purchase a home. Like, some of it seems really silly, but like any contract ever, if somebody hadn't had an issue with it in the past, it wouldn't be in the stock. So, here's a list of things you can check. Most of these and the stuff that you're legally concerned about, we're gonna have checked in the home inspection, which happens in our due diligence period over here. There are some that are outside that scope. There's a geologist. You can have a geological condition test. I used to think that was really stupid, but who on earth would hire a geologist to check the ground before you bought a house? And I was like, but if you bought a house on the side of a mountain, you might want to have a geologist and an engineer come out to make sure that the building is safe and the ground is settled properly so your house doesn't fall down. So there's reasons that it's in here. Basically, it just gives you an idea that you can have a house inspected before you buy it. Initial here, sign here, fantastic. When I get to the agency agreement, I'm like, all right, fantastic. This one here, this is what allows me to fully represent you as your agent in the process. Kind of like the DTR, right? We're going to define our relationship. Essentially, I'm going to promise to commit to you time, energy, and my expertise. I need to know that you're committed to me and helping me find a house. That sounds fair. Great. And I'll walk through each section. I don't think I can do it by memory, but each paragraph, I'll give them a quick little blurb. Have you seen it yet?
I've seen it, yeah.
Want me to print one out and walk through it with you?
Whatever's covered.
7:15.
You can kind of act like you don't get it.
Well, I can, I think it's up to you if you want it. Should have turned that up. Yeah, you get to decide. Do you want it, yes or no? You're not gonna hurt my feelings if you say yes, I think 8 seconds.
All right, fine, yeah, sure.
Yeah. You don't remember. You're not gonna- Yes. Be done here in about 5 to 10 minutes,
Sounds good.
unless you wanna go on. So. I just walked through with them each section. So I break it down, hey, this is my company, this is you, this breaks down how long this is good for, this says that I can represent you to buy a house, I usually put it. Says I can help you till the end of the year, unless they say, hey, you want 2 years out, cool, hey, fantastic, I'm gonna go ahead and push this out further than that, just to make sure that we don't have to fill this out anytime until you're ready. I'll put any in this box right here, this says that I can help you in any county, Utah, in any problem. Brokerage fee, this breaks down how I get paid, 3.5%, 2.5%, I'll put in here, if you wanna charge, or need to charge like a transaction fee, you can do that right here. But, then we kind of go over what we went through before. Hey, listen, this breaks down how I'm going to get paid to help you buy a house. When a seller lists the property, they typically agree to a buyer's agency commission. Some of that's changing just a little bit. I don't think it's a big deal. What it says is this breaks down and says, when you buy a house, you're agreeing to pay this percent. Buyer agrees to pay this percent. It's most times it comes from the seller. Most times the seller agent or the listing agent share the portion of that, and that covers your obligation. If it doesn't, then you and I have to have a conversation to make sure. That's satisfaction, so this just breaks down how it can be paid. Protection period, what this says is that, hey, if I go show you a house and then you call me and say, hey, I'm firing you, and you go work directly with the other side, that's happened before, or it wouldn't be in here. This says that, and I usually put 3 months, that for the 3 months, basically after we're working together, or that if that happens within 3 months, you would still be liable for this percentage. Buyer's representation, this just says that you haven't signed any paperwork or agreed to work with anybody else. You haven't, right? No, not at all. Okay, fantastic. We talked about that. You guys didn't sign anything. You're not committed to anybody else. Great. Duties of a buyer's agent and a limited agent. So I always recite this to them. Buyer and the buyer, or buyer agents for the buyer, buyer's agent and the broker have a fiduciary duty to the buyer. That includes loyalty, obedience, full disclosure, confidentiality, reasonable care, and any other duties required by law. So as your agent, I have to be loyal and obedient to what you do. Sound good? Great. Limited agent, read through that, find a way to explain it. Basically, is it, hey, if I happen to have the listing and you guys want to buy it, there is a way. Sometimes it's easier to just kind of put it. Hey, in some situations where the listing agent has a buyer for the property and they have an agreement with both, the agent can go into limited status, which essentially means that he can't give an unfair advantage to either side. So if you're buying the property and you tell me I'm willing to pay $50,000 more, I can't go to the seller and say they're willing to pay more money. Vice versa, if the seller says, hey, I'm willing to take less, I can't run to you and say, hey, they're willing to take less. A little bit of a precarious situation. I haven't found myself in it. It is something to be aware of. It is a way we can do this.
You never had. So it really is that rare.
For me, there's some people in the office. Who frequently.
I mean, I can see, I mean, if I was the client, I would.
Yeah. And it's
Because
like,
there's no way that
one
you
way to
could
say is
be-
like, hey, it's possible, it is legal. It's a little bit tougher because it's like having the same lawyer represent. the parties. It's tough to do. It would have to be a pretty unique situation where I would feel comfortable doing it. If for whatever reason we ran into that, we would have to have some pretty open conversations. I have business partners that I've worked with that have stepped in to represent you or represent buyers or sellers in these situations. Really, it's gonna come down to communication. I want what's best for you, and we're gonna find a way to make that happen. Professional advice, this just says that I'm a licensed realtor. I will give you real estate advice. I'm not a plumber or electrician. I'm not going to give you plumbing or electrical advice. If I gave your house would burn and flood at the same time, so I'm not gonna do that. Dispute resolution and attorney fees. This basically says, if you have any issues with me, you will tell me before you sue me. I've never been sued, I never plan on being sued. But that's what this breaks down. Really, truly though, as we're working together, if there's something that I'm doing that you really can't stand, please tell me. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. And vice versa, if there's something that I'm not doing that you really wish I would, please tell me. I'm always looking for ways to get better, and I wanna make sure you have the experience. This section here, the attorney's fee basically says, if we do ever end up in litigation, your basic attorney's fees. Buyer's authorization, this section here says that once we purchase property, we will post the price and any concessions that we got for the property onto the MLS. The MLS is a system that agents and appraisers use to use comps and to make sure value is right. It's not public data. Nobody outside of that, those two have access to that information. Lenders don't have access to that. The attachment, it says that the buyer due diligence checklist and the wire fraud don't need to be separate. So they're incorporated to this, so I put there are not unless I have any other special things that we need to work out. Equal housing opportunity basically says that we're not gonna discriminate. This says that we can sign things over email, online, which is how we're gonna sign most things. Due on sale clause says that when a house is sold, the underlying mortgage is usually due on the sale, so then it has to be paid off. That's taken care of through title, not something you need to worry about. Yeah, I would just leave it at that. There's some cases, if they were gonna do a seller finance, then they would need to be aware of that. If you're gonna do a seller finance, you need some more hand holding on it, so don't worry too much about that one. This is the entire agreement. I didn't promise to buy you a boat or send you to Hawaii for working with me. To be clear, I didn't promise any of that. Today is the effective date. You are the undersigned. If you would please sign there, put the best email for you and phone number, date it, I'll sign here and initial it. So that's about how fast I'll go through it unless you have questions. I've had a few, very few ask me if they can take it home and read it. I say knock yourself out. Yeah, take it. Let me know if you have any questions. As soon as you get it signed, I'm happy to start with. After that, the next thing I'll do is, all right, I got one more thing for you. Read through this. Like some of these seem really silly. These have either killed or put deals in jeopardy for either me or my business partner. So when we are under contract, now I stress, like, I probably should rephrase this a little bit, but specifically when we're under contract, please don't quit your job. It is very, very difficult to qualify for a loan if you quit your job. Don't change your job. Please don't change your job while we're under contract. Again, makes it really difficult and an underwriter might not like it. The only one in here, don't get a promotion. I should put without speaking to the lender. 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna be an issue.
Same industry, more money.
Usually it's gonna be fine. It could be an issue with an underwriter, so my big thing there is like, hey, just make sure you're having a conversation with your lender before you go do it. Like really, there's a lot of good stuff in here. Take the ones that you like and highlight them. 80-10-10 rule. If you like 80% of the house, 10% you can change and 10% you can live with, that is the quote unquote perfect house. That's the one that you need to buy. Always assume you're being recorded when you're at property because you are. Don't say anything that's gonna get me a phone call later saying how rude we are, the sellers hate us. Don't go window shopping and don't let anybody pull your credit. Essentially for the next 30 days, I need you to keep things in as much homeostasis as you. Don't change anything. Leave it all the same. Leave your job the same, cut your spending back as much as you can to make sure we don't have any issues with that. If you're gonna be out of town, going on a vacation, please tell me. Basically, like we need extra good communication for the next couple of weeks. Read through those, there's some really funny ones in there, and please don't go buy cars. And I'll share some stories depending on what it is and like some horror stories. Buying closing with a new car, and you're like, sweet Jesus, right? Did you tell the lender? No.
Probably gonna have to redo all this.
Sweet, probably not closing that right.
You know,
So. That is the gist of my presentation that I will go through with clients. Again, goes back to questions, ask good questions, be curious. It'll help you understand more. You don't want to solve the wrong problem. That's what it helps you do. Helps you get to the root of what they need help with. So.
this is my one question, and this is kind of just from my lack of personally bought a home, having bought a home in the past, but. I guess I'm still, and I feel. Regarding, so. I'm representing the buyer,
Okay.
like we were talking about earlier. The seller's broker paying the buyer's commission. I guess what's confusing me, like, can I simplify things in my mind that, like. The buyer, I guess I'm just